The story very closely, and just when you thought it might be the end yesterday, Heidi, doesn't seem to be, because Tom Moyane continues to fight, and we have to ask why.
Exactly. So I don't think this is over anytime soon, because they are waiting for the President as well as Judge Nugent to respond to their 700-page affidavit to the Constitutional Court, and thereafter they will decide what their next step will be. And the big question is what now, because they've already gone to the Constitutional Court on the basis of the Commission of Inquiry being halted, as well as Tom Moyane's disciplinary hearing. You must remember that there are two separate inquiries happening at the same time. It's Tom Moyane's disciplinary hearing, and then it is the Commission of Inquiry, which is almost coming to an end. By the end of November, Judge Nugent needs to submit his final report. But the President has acted very fast on the recommendations in the interim report that Tom Moyane be removed. And the President basically saying that, you know, there cannot be further deterioration at the Revenue Service. Tom Moyane's lack of proper managerial skills have contributed to his decision. The fact that he did not participate meaningfully to the Commission of Inquiry, he refused to provide sufficient evidence and be part of the Commission, which he was given ample opportunity to do so, and he refused to. He rather went to the Commission and said this is a kangaroo court, it's unfair, it's biased, it's illogical, and so forth, literally bashing the Commission. And Judge Nugent and his panel were really just trying to understand what went wrong at the Revenue Service. And of course Tom Moyane's name would be brought up because he was the Commissioner for 4 years.
And I mean, the other thing that is so baffling is, yes, okay, fine, you can go to the Constitutional Court and say there are two processes, this doesn't seem fair, you have all of this, but you actually haven't come out to defend yourself against any of the allegations or any of the testimony that has come out, and such damning allegations, and some that can't actually be disputed. You haven't come out in defense of those things. Rather, you're just going in there saying this is unfair just because there are two processes.
Very good point to make, because President Cyril Ramaphosa actually mentioned that yesterday in his reasons why he's decided to axe Tom Moyane, basically saying that you were given a deadline to respond to me and make representations as to why you believe that you should not be removed as the Commissioner. You must remember that the President has sufficient evidence from this Commission of Inquiry. You've heard over 60 to 70 witnesses giving their evidence. Obviously, there's evidence being presented to that Commission that we obviously are not aware of. But the President saying that you gave no meaningful reasons, but instead you gave me a deadline to tell me that I need to not make a decision on firing you, given the fact that that was the final recommendation. So Tom Moyane really, he tried to fight back, but he gave a 6-page letter to the President, basically bashing the Commission, basically saying that Judge Nugent and his panel, including Professor Katz, which Tom Moyane believes is a conflict of interest on that panel because he's President Cyril Ramaphosa's personal lawyer, but basically saying, we do not believe that this Commission is doing what it's supposed to do and going with the terms of reference.
Well, I suppose the question now, I mean, let's sort of push Tom Moyane aside and SARS itself. You had, I think you saw an interview with Mark King, and his acting Commissioner, and the question is, well, who is the next Commissioner? Would it be Mark King? And are we hearing that he's the man for the job? Who else would it be if not him? What are you hearing?
So, I mean, I personally spoke to Mark King last night, and I said to him, have you heard anything? What is the word that you're getting? And there's obviously a process that needs to be followed. We do know that Mark has been acting since March, when Tom Moyane was suspended. Now he's been fired, and I think the President will need to make a very careful decision as to who he puts in this position. This is, and I don't know how more to emphasize this. This is our revenue service. This is taxpayers' money. If this institution collapses even more, this is what runs our country. This is where the money comes from for various departments, for service delivery and so forth. So I think the President really needs to decide who he's going to put there and who the right person is, because we've seen a revenue shortfall of 50 billion rand. We saw our Finance Minister Tito Mboweni coming out last week saying that there's going to be a further revenue shortfall. It's not where it should be. So the President has a very difficult task ahead of him. Whether it will be Mark or somebody else, it needs to be somebody,
the right man or woman. All right,
exactly,
man or woman.
Exactly.
Let's see what happens. Thanks very much, Heidi. Thanks for your time.